And good morning to you. Cold Friday morning, at least we don't have rain outside as we've had for the last 40 days and 40 nights. We're still down for rain in the month of, we're down for rain for the year, but we're not for the month because January was really pretty dry from everything that I saw. So glad to have you along here on a Friday morning. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, Lanny.
I didn't get any flowers, candy, or a kiss, so I know how I feel. I know how you feel about me. It's okay. I'll let it go.
Yeah.
There we go. That's much better.
Yeah.
What in the crap? My Facebook stuff ain't working right.
Mine is.
Okay.
Of course, I don't have it on the internet. Like, I don't have it. I say on the internet. I don't have it on Wi-Fi here.
Well, no, it came up, and then it just kind of wanted to do what it wanted to do, so I'll figure it out here in just a moment. All right, G, I'm going to start right where you started, okay, because I heard you talking about it, and I need for you to justify it for me, okay? You were talking about, give me the stats on how, on the combined Super Bowl losses for Brady versus Mahomes.
So Brady lost 3 Super Bowls in who knows how long, by 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
So he lost 3 to the Giants, 4 to the Giants, and then 8 to the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes has lost 2 Super Bowls, and he's 29, and it's by a combined total of 40 points that he's the gap.
He's had 2 ugly losses. I mean, there's no other way to say that.
Which one was worse, though?
This past one was worse because they just didn't show up. They didn't. And here's the thing: we talked about this the other day. In my opinion, I don't think they've got the horsepower that they need. They've gotten old. They've gotten slower. And Philadelphia is just so big and massive and young. And some changes are going to have to be made with Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't think they've won their last Super Bowl.
But there's one thing about Kansas City is Kelsey looks
old.
Yes. He can barely catch the ball, and he's running really slow for compared to what he's been doing. And for how long he's been in the league.
He's been swifted. Mm-hmm. That's what he's been done.
Yeah.
He's been swifted.
Yeah, he's
made plenty of money. He can go.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is the marketing with him and Taylor Swift is not the issue, right? They've got a brand for the rest of their lives.
Sure.
Regardless.
Him and his brother's got a brand.
And his brother has the best brand. The story of Jason is incredible. He was a walk-on at the college they were at and played inside linebacker, and he was a downhill A-gap Mike linebacker.
But you know what Travis was?
Quarterback.
He was a quarterback.
He's a quarterback, right?
He wore number 8.
Yeah. So, but with Jason's journey, they just basically he was 235 pounds. I was watching it last night. It was a great clip that came up, and he was just talking about it. And he said, "They're like, look, we got out here in spring ball. You can't run with anybody. You can't cover anybody. We're going to put you at center because you're athletic. You're just big and not real fast." So basically, they put 70, 80 pounds on him, and he's 6'2", and then he goes and he's in that classification, one of the best all time at that position, and he is,
and that reinforces what I say all the time. Okay, there is what is there? Let me try to do the math here right quick. Just humor me. 1,696. Roster players, okay? 32 times 53.
Right.
Nobody's going to convince me there's only 1,700 of those guys out there that can play. When you look at people like Jason Kelsey, you look at these people that come from nowhere,
right.
Right. And that's what I keep saying. The NFL is a league that once they find somebody, they would rather ride that mule till it can't walk is to think there's another one that might be able to play as good, because I still contend some of these older veterans that are running at about 70, 75%, you can find a younger player, cheaper player, that can give you that same 70% and then grow into more.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the one thing that they'll fall back on, and I say the GMs and coaches, is the experience factor when it matters. It's not so much going out and playing, but the situational style of things and the experience, because, in baseball, and this is a great example, I think, in baseball, you can be really fast and be a terrible base runner or a base stealer, but yet you can have great base stealing instincts and not be the fastest guy, but yet still be a great, great on the bases, okay? And I think that, from a coaching standpoint, I personally, I like the experience factor over the youth factor when there are situations that come up where I need people to be in the right place, not to get there in a hurry.
But
what I'm saying?
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's just like in the work world. When a kid comes out of college, they got the education, they got the tools, but they can't get a job because they say, well, you have no experience.
Right.
Well, if nobody hires me,
that's right.
How do I get that experience? Yeah. Same thing in the league. If I played in, let's just say in my college career at a top tier, I'm going to say top 25 college.
Right.
I've got 30 games of experience under my belt in a successful program.
Yes.
That's somebody I'm probably going to roll the dice on because but they don't want to. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to. That's not counting the diamonds in the rough and the small, the Josh Allens out of Wyoming. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not counting those guys.
Right.
But it's that chicken and the egg thing. How do you get experience if nobody will give you a chance? Now, I'm hoping that the UFL or whatever it's called, UFL, I'm hoping that will do something for it.
It is.
I mean, we talked about that the other day, the number of contracts that were signed by former UFL players that have been able to get in.
Yes.
But I think it hurts pro football because we leave veterans in too long.
And I think the point that you just made is a great point on what you have said before about why there needs to be roster expansion.
Yeah.
I think that each team, and I think they start with 3 to 6 on expansion and then kind of let that settle in and then potentially take it to like 60 or 62, okay?
Yeah.
And to ease into it. That way you can measure how things are and it doesn't disrupt the entire balance of the way things are structured, and you can ease into that where the product on the field doesn't change in the quality. They're really looking at quality and how to market in the NFL versus like you and I would do with whether we're coaching his team or a high school team of trying to, absolutely maximize everything, to help them be the best they can be and to try to win games. I think it's be the best you can be, but also we got to market this league because it is a business first. And not a athletic league first. It's a business first.
You've got when you take the three leagues, the three major leagues, and the way you look at them, baseball has all of these prospects, but a very short life.
Yeah,
shelf life.
Right.
You bounce around in the minors for 3 or 4 or 5 years, you never get there.
You're right. It's tough.
In the NFL, you just don't ever get a shot. You make it to the NBA, they leave you on there forever. I mean, you got guys on the end of the bench making $20 million a year that never see the floor.
Yeah. Well, that league is that's an interesting situation all in itself. The NBA is and one that personally I wish everybody the best, but I'm not very interested personally in it at all. I was at one time. Many years ago, but I felt like the league went through a transition, which is fine. It doesn't make it wrong, but I feel like it went through a transition from being a highly ultra competitive, see what happens next league to, well, my big toe hurts tonight, so I need to take 6 weeks off, and I'm saving myself for when people come to watch you play or they pay you for a service. Yes. They don't want you to save yourself; they want you to service them. Right.
They forget they're not just playing for their fun and enjoyment.
But they've been allowed to do that.
Well, go back. One of the things that everybody talks about is the difference. What David Stern did when he was commissioner, when he realized the value of the NBA was the name on the back and not the name on the front. But it's that pendulum. Now, instead of getting where it was kind of even, now there's too much power with the NBA with the players.
It's ridiculous.
And I think it's going to change. I don't think it's going to have any I don't think it's going to have any choice but to change, because you're going to start losing the fans, and that's what's happening. Yeah. Not even counting that it's way too long. The only sport, in my opinion, that's not too long is football, and it's because you only get a dose of it once a week. Baseball, they play 47 games per week, for 173 weeks out of the year.
Right.
That's how many baseball games, like a bazillion.
Yeah.
And the NBA's the same way. The NBA's the same way. They do too much. When you take sports and it becomes the expected usual instead of an event that you look forward to. You know what I'm saying? Well, if I miss a baseball game, I got 161 other ones I can go to.
I can pick and choose and travel if I want to.
Yeah.
Plan. The NBA is kind of
But you don't have the urgency to go watch that game.
Even when Jordan, Magic, and Bird or Dr. J and those guys, they started, finishing up in early, mid-May or whatever. I'm sorry, but when March rolls around, I'm ready to see playoff basketball in college and pro. Mm-hmm. High school season lasts too long too. I mean, they start before, like Halloween, and then they end up playing the state championship like the second or third week in March. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, we have Christmas break. Well, that's like 3 days, and everybody plays in the Christmas tournament.
That's right.
I don't want to hear that. It is just too much. Basketball it's been going on forever. I mean, I think basketball started last June, and it's still going on.
Well, it doesn't end till almost July.
That's what I'm saying. That they're like from an interest standpoint. When it gets warm outside, the gym to me is not the place to be, right? Mm-hmm. It's one of those things you just finish up in, February, March. That's good. Great season. Let's move on. It's kind of like hockey, right? They do a pretty good job of, they got a little bit of a, extended season, but they do a good job of wrapping things up, and then that's it. Let's get outside. It's warm. Mm-hmm. And again, these are all first world problems, but and concerns. But from an entertainment quality of life standpoint, and how you follow things, sometimes less is more. Mm-hmm. You can be too diversified in things where you just water things down, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what is happening. Now, I will tell you, with pro football, I do think they need to make a major adjustment, and the Super Bowl needs to be on this coming weekend with President's Day on Monday. When you have a day, a lot of people have that day off.
That's why they want to go to the 18 games.
But
here's the deal: just add another week to the regular season with another bye week.
Like have half the teams bye week the fourth week, half of them the fifth week,
and make the Super Bowl President's Day weekend, and then back up the whole season from there. Pick that day and just back up.
And everybody, it just makes things a little better, because the amount of work that's missed on that Monday after the Super Bowl. And the productivity of things is at the lowest point of all year.
I've never understood why the Super Bowl wasn't a 4:00 kick. Because even on Sunday, I'm okay with that. But if you kick it at 4, you're over by 9.
I thought about that. And I looked it up,
and that's 1:00 on the West Coast. So you're still okay there.
No, you're right. I thought about that. I thought, why not do it? Well, I thought 3.
Nobody wants to do it on Saturdays because they say it's not a good TV night.
It's not a good TV. Yeah.
If the event's big enough, it is.
Well. Okay, the reason – well, see, that's the problem. They've done metrics on this. That's why the National Championship is on Monday night and Super Bowl's on Sunday. But I looked this up and did some research on that, because I'm like you. I was thinking 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. But I kind of like 3, but I understand what you're saying about West Coast at 1. So I looked it up, and for all intents and purposes, with all the money that is generated – from commercials, from the pregame shows to the visits that they do with players and their families and charities and the awareness of things and all that. That's why they do it at 6. They would lose so much revenue in a 3-hour time span of backing it up.
Yeah,
it would be billions.
But here's
of
the deal. Here's
marketing.
the deal. I can't imagine that I'm by myself when I say that there was no money made off me in the pregame shows. Up until 30 minutes before kickoff.
Okay, so
because I'm not tuning in at noon and watching every human interest story on 3 different networks leading up to the game. I'm not interested in it.
All right.
I'm completely good with that 1 hour show before you get started and then move on. And I understand it's about money, but what I'm saying is they're not making any money off me because I'm not doing it.
Right.
I'm not watching. I'm not interested.
So just as you,
that's not sports. In case anybody's,
I'm going to
counting.
throw this out there. Just as you and we have a very tight circle of friends, right? We have people we're friendly with and all that,
Yep.
but when I look in my circle, it's like guys like you and Robbie and Andrew and Stephen Lowe and the incredible Bob Wansker, who is traveling today.
He's watching today, even if he's traveling.
I thought when I'm traveling, I have the greatest passenger princess, Mandy, with me. Bob has lovely Melissa with him, and she is a rock star. But anyway, so I just want to give them a shout. But, when Robbie and I were sitting there, Robbie and Andrew and myself, we were more interested in watching golf. What I'm saying, up for the pregame, and then we cut it on about 30 minutes to an hour before the game just to make sure we didn't miss anything like national anthems and players and, just kind of because they had the cameras down the field.
Yeah.
And they did a pretty good job of that with the players coming out. And, but there wasn't a whole lot of excitement before that. Now, I will tell you, if I had been by myself, I likely would have watched all that or had it on as I was navigating around doing things.
Now, I know that you probably do because you're the unicorn. But on Saturday, you're not finding me sitting down for ESPN's College Game Day.
No.
You don't?
I'm not interested. I'll take the last 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, but you don't watch that? Oh, my gosh. I get up and start. I cut Sports Center on at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they start
I want to see games.
Well, I know, but.
I mean, Saturday. Now, you've got me. From noon till I can't hold my eyes
12
open.
o'clock at night.
I'm good.
Yeah, right.
I'll watch. But I'm not into the other stuff. I'm not into the other stuff. And the reason I don't watch Thursday night football so much in the NFL, I can't flip when there's a commercial, or I can't flip because I got to go to one network. I got to go to Paramount, or I got to go to Prime, or whatever it is. Yeah. I want to be able to just flip around. If there's a commercial,
I get it.
or the games get out of sync to where one's gone to halftime and the other one hadn't, I can go find something else, even on Thursday night.
Right.
So
Wednesday now.
Anytime.
Hey,
it's 7 days a week.
You and I haven't talked about that we really like is
that?
Like the MAC conference games.
The Tuesday, Wednesday games.
Those are great.
I mean, because they're still good. They're still good. They're still good football games.
They play hard, man.
But I'm a game guy. I want to watch the game.
I understand that.
Okay,
I get that.
And then I have a fight with my wife when a game's over, and especially on a Sunday, and you're getting ready to leave that 1 o'clock game to go to that 4:30 game.
Right.
And I get this. Whoa! I want to hear what they got to say. Then you need to go to your room. Because I'm not watching that. There's another game on. I'm watching another game. I don't care. I don't care about that interview. I'm not interested in that. I want to watch games.
I tell you, I really got engaged the last couple of years, three or 4 years in that, especially, College Game Day, but especially with, some of the insights. Like McAfee is a great entertainer.
Yep.
And he is good with knowledge and has a great show, and he comes on and it's fun to watch him. He's kind of taking that place of not really taking Corso's place of the entertainment side of things, but it's more from the start of the show to the, till close to the end.
I think Saban's more entertaining than he is.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'll be honest with you.
Saban came on there this year.
Yeah.
And it added a whole.
He's much more interesting.
When
if I've got to
called
watch
him Alabama Jones, I thought the top of his head was going to call. It was awesome. That was so funny, but his insight on things and the way that the thing that you can tell about Nick Saban is like he cares about the players in college football. He doesn't care about all this rah-rah stuff, and he knows that's important and a part of it. But he focuses on players and player development.
He's like I am. He's not watching pre-games. He's watching games.
Yeah,
he's watching. But the thing about Saban is, just because of who he is, his delivery, that kind of thing,
right?
He's entertaining and doesn't have to be. McAfee has to try.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's got a caricature.
Yes.
He's got a, he's trying to present a personality.
Saban's substance created its own style.
Belichick's even done it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
McAfee has, because and I'm not diminishing what he did or how he did it, but because he was when I say a violent kicker, like he wasn't afraid to like tackle and get in the mix and fall on the ball. And,
the word that comes to mind is nut.
No, he's just nut.
Okay.
But that is like his form of substance that he embraces his style off of, and then is just taking it to another level.
Yeah. Let me take a quick break, and then we'll come to. And I know you want to get into some draft, G. And a couple folks that are watching. I know Bob's watching, Jones watching, Richie's watching, Brian Lynch, Myron Sackett's watching. Richie said that people are looking at the ceiling for where they want to be, but they don't take into account where's the floor. Meaning, if we stay with the veteran, we get here the same place with a younger guy, but they don't take into account what happens when the veteran can't do his job anymore and perform at the ceiling level. I have always said, to me, the top attribute of a player is availability.
Yes,
I don't care how fast, how good, how quick. Right. If you're always hurt and can't play, it doesn't matter about all those other skills.
Think about Andrew Luck.
Yes.
We just talked about that right before we started. If you're able to be on the field, then it puts you within a different group of guys. The only difference between Lamar and Josh Allen, or now Jaden Daniels has stayed on the field.
Right.
He missed one game this year.
Right.
Lamar didn't miss any games, but earlier in his career,
he never played.
He never played in
that was a contract thing.
No,
I'm just saying he wouldn't go out and give the extra because he didn't have that big contract.
He didn't play in December.
He didn't play in December because he was always concussion protocol or broken arm or
it was something.
Hurt knee,
right.
Byron says 70 days till the Atlantic League baseball season starts. They are now the Ghost Peppers, I believe. Used to be the Honey Dogs or Honey Hunters or something, whatever it is. Let me take a break, and then we'll come back. We'll get into some draft preview back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, we're back. We were talking. I'm sorry. Byron said, Suzanne, good morning. John Bangle, good morning. Byron said, me and my best friend from high school own the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. So come out and let's host you when you come to Gastonia.
Nice.
That's pretty good baseball. That's a nice little
They
stadium.
are, yeah. Boy,
bad part about it's in the hood.
Well, yeah, it is, but it's nice and it's a great atmosphere for baseball. And a boy that a guy that I coached years ago in Hickory, post 48, is Zach Jarrett. He played down there for him, and Zach's a great guy. And he played AAA ball, and he was on the split squad in spring training with the Orioles. I was watching him 4 or 5 years ago, and he got his first hit. And we were laughing about it. He got his first hit in spring training. On the big team, he was up there, and I mean he was battling, and he swung so hard at this pitch and topped it, and it rolled to third base. And Zach runs pretty good. I mean, he runs real well for a guy his size. And Zach is Dale Jarrett's son. Zach is. He's a good boy, but he beat it out at first, and I sent him a text message say, "Hey man, great hit." He said, "Yeah, I really," but he's a good boy, and really happy for him. He's doing a lot of stuff now. And he promotes there's several clips that are on his Facebook page and on some things that he puts out that shows him hitting home runs down there in Gastonia and playing on the team and how much he enjoyed it. That's a great atmosphere. And coming out of COVID, I would expect to see more and more people getting out and enjoying a good experience at the ballpark in the summer. So they do a good job.
All right, G, some short answer questions for you.
All right.
Where's Aaron Rodgers next year?
Retirement.
You know who the leading candidate is?
The 49ers.
They were, yes. Well, they were one. Who
I'm hearing the Giants.
The Giants are
and I'm hearing the Raiders.
No.
Just as a stopgap.
No, I think Brady would bring him in. I do, but I think he's going to end up at the Steelers. Him or Matt Stafford are going to end up at the Steelers.
And I'm hearing Stafford to
New Orleans.
No. Why I'm wanting to think San Francisco.
Teams are.
Well, that's a possibility.
Now you know what Juju sent me a text on yesterday, day before yesterday? I don't think it happens, and I don't think it's good for his career. I hate to say it. He's hearing that the Steelers are trying to trade for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that. The thing that I don't understand about them is Mason Rudolph.
They let
him go. And he is a guy that stuck with him all those years. Oh,
and that's what I'm saying. That's when I go back to
where that, man.
Those in charge of the Steelers really don't have a clue.
Mason Rudolph is much better than Russell Wilson or or Justin Fields. Now I like both those guys, and I appreciate the efforts they gave and all that. But
Russell's Travis Kelce. It's time.
And that's okay.
Or be Andy Dalton, but I don't think Russ can sit on the bench.
No. I mean, he ain't gonna do that. Yeah, he's not gonna do that.
So
right now, Steelers are currently projected to draft a receiver.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
All right, now let me tell you something else that I thought was funny yesterday when I was listening to. I think it was Dan Patrick. Who was coach of the year from the Vikings?
Kevin O'Connell.
Okay. Dan Patrick was talking about, some of the coaches. He said, okay, who's the top coach who would win if the head coaches were going through the combine? Okay, who would win? And he was talking about so-and-so was fastest and so-and-so was, so-and-so was the best at quickness and that kind of thing. And he was talking about, he asked him, said, can you still toss the football around like in pregame and stuff? Are you out there throwing and stuff? He said, oh, yeah. He said, I throw some wobblers. He said, then I made the mistake of bringing Josh McCown on my staff. And he said he could still go out there and suit up and play. Remember, he played at Carolina.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was interesting. So many of these coaches, you're starting to get back, and I think you see it with a lot of the college programs where the coaches are relating so much more to the players.
Sure.
And they talk about like Dan Campbell, those guys at Detroit take a bullet for him. Shane Steichen. Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, Philadelphia. Sirianni.
Yeah.
Sirianni's another one.
Sure.
And it was funny, 5 years after week 5, they were calling for him to be fired. And then he goes on to win the Super Bowl. And then you got the Steelers. It's the same song and dance that you've seen for 20 years.
Man. They had a chance to offload all that problem and start fresh. And, the Rangers were like, no, we're not interested in him even talking to the Bears or anybody else. And that's fine. But listen, like everything in life, our lives are obviously a book. Mm-hmm. And each book, has chapters. It's just not one book that doesn't stop. And it's okay for a chapter to close and start a new one. You can revisit. You just don't need to go relive.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we're stuck in a chapter that we can't close and that we're reliving every year. And I'm sorry, I don't define success as, well, we're above 500.
Right.
I don't. I don't accept that. I don't teach my children that. I don't set the bar here and say, well, we're going to win 8, 9, 10 games a year, and that's success, and anything else is great. Anything else is gravy, and we just had a great year. No, that is settling for mediocrity and setting the bar low to make achievement appear high. That is ridiculous.
I will take down years as long as every so often we make a genuine push and run to win a championship.
Yes.
Instead of just saying, we had a good year. We're solid. We're right there. All right, let me go draft. Tennessee Titans, #1 pick, correct?
Yeah.
You agree with Travis Hunter?
No.
Okay.
Whoa.
First of all, is Travis Hunter a corner or a wide receiver?
He's both.
Yes.
Not in the NFL?
Yes.
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 Okay, I don't think so. But go ahead.
No. Here's the role that he plays. He plays a nickel corner in the NFL, and he plays as your slot receiver.
And he plays about 40% of the plays on offense.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because you need him more at corner.
Right, nickel, he can play 70, 80% of the snaps. So he's really getting a full game in, like as if he was not platooning.
I'll tell you who I think he's going to go to.
Who's that?
I think he might go to New England.
So you don't think he goes to the Titans with the #1 pick? You don't think he's the #1 pick?
They are drafting Cam Ward with the #1
pick.
All right, well, let me go. This is Phil Yates.
Store has already declined the Titans. He declined the Giants. He's going to the Raiders. Shador's going to the Raiders. They don't have another option to go with Cam Ward because they're cutting Will Levis.
All right, I'm going to go. I'll give you comments on that in a second. he's got Abdul Carter, edge rusher out of Penn State to the Browns.
Great player.
Good.
Okay.
I
Good
agree with
pick.
that.
They've got the Giants taking Cam Ward.
No. On my
Patriots taking Will Campbell out of
Yes,
LSU, offensive tackle.
They like him a lot.
I agree with that.
And they need him. Jacksonville taking Mason Graham out of Michigan, defensive tackle.
He's very good.
Raiders at number 6 taking Shedeur Sanders
Yep.
at quarterback.
See, and
G thinks that's what's going to happen.
and I see this, the description behind it. The QB needy Raiders take their shot, trusting that Tom Brady, Pete Carroll, and Chip Kelly will put Sanders in
Yep.
the
I
position
agree
to
with that
succeed.
100%. 100%.
They have enough weapons to support Shedeur Sanders. But I mean, you have Brock Bowers, you have Jacoby Myers. They need to work on their offensive line, and free agency hasn't even
That's where
started
they need
yet.
to do it. Through free agency,
but
not through the draft.
I don't think they'll draft a lineman.
No, they're going for the star power, and Shedeur Sanders has enough maturity from being raised in that limelight where he can immediately hit the ground running and not be overwhelmed or enamored with, the fact of being a star because he's been one since the day he was born.
All right, let me give you this. The Jets. It's got the
Jalen
Jets
Walker.
taking Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia.
Oh, Michael Williams.
What do they do about quarterback?
Jordan Travis.
They don't have a quarterback.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Jordan Travis.
Okay.
They're, the guy that was from Florida State that broke his leg and then
Yeah, they
Florida
like
State
him.
whined about
I'm wondering.
5
Yeah.
months.
Would Darnold go back to
No.
the Jets?
Nah.
That's another name that's been kicked around
Yeah.
at the 49ers.
49ers, yeah,
There's a
because he's
stopgap.
from there. Well, they talked about Darnold. I didn't tell you this yesterday. It was either Coward or Dan Patrick were talking about having Darnold go to the Rams because the Rams are offloading Stafford, and because he's from that area, it
Right.
made sense.
See why?
For and Darnold and Sean McVay is kind
Where
of like
did Darnold
Stafford.
go when he came out of college?
The
Cardinals?
Jets.
No, he went to the Jets first.
The very first time? Okay.
Yeah.
But
it was a
he went
dumpster
to
fire.
USC.
Right.
No, but I'm just saying when he came out of college,
So,
was the
once
Jets
he-
his first NFL team?
Yes.
Yes, he went to the Jets, then he went to the Pampers, then he went to the oh, sorry, I had to make
Yeah.
a joke. And then he went to the 49ers, and then he went to the Vikings, and then
Wherever
free
he goes now.
agency.
Got the Panthers taking Jalen Walker, edge rusher, linebacker out of
see,
Georgia.
I hope so.
Mine-
That's the boy from Salisbury. Remember when we played them?
They've got to address some defense, and they know
Right.
that. But
And
the problem with the Panthers is they had so many needs and still do.
He can do
See,
that.
mine is flipped around between Michael Williams and Jalen Walker. So they have Jalen Walker going to the Jets.
But they're
and
both
Michael
edge
Williams.
rushers.
But they're both edge
Yeah,
rushers. They
same
both play
player.
the same
And
role.
Walker, watching him when he was in
Walker
high school,
was
we,
the better
Quinn,
QB.
we played against him, right? Maiden for 2 years, and Laney, his dad, I think, is the head coach at Catawba College. Okay, I think Walker's dad is. I'm gonna tell you, like when that kid was out on the field and they were doing warm ups, he didn't look like everybody else on that field. Like when you looked at him, you're like, that guy's gonna be in the NFL. At 15, 16, 17 years old.
It's kind of like the tight end from.
Yeah. I mean, that he just, what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he had that presence, and then when he got to Georgia, he developed every year, and his skill set is just off the chart. It's been remarkable and I'm very blessed to be able to watch a kid at like 16 years old and actually see it, watch film on it, study up all this stuff for 2 years playing him in the playoffs, and then watching him go to college and seeing. And I say every game he played, I would say I probably watched 70% of Georgia's games, since he's been there. And he is remarkable. That is a great pick. I wish the Steelers would find a way to trade up and get a guy like that.
The Steelers, the
They
Steelers
trade
at
Mike Tomlin,
21.
their first round pick to the Jets, and
I'd
then
do that.
And then they get the 7th pick in Aaron Glenn.
I'd do that.
Your
You do coaches.
your team in college and pro, because you're a huge Ole Miss fan.
Yep.
The Steelers, they've got the Steelers taking Jackson Dart.
I like that kid, man. He's tough. And he played for a cerebral assassin with Lane Kiffin because he is. To play for Lane Kiffin, gets you prepared to play in the NFL. It's kind of like, playing with, like Shanahan or Sarkisian. It gets you – Brian Daboll's a great example. It gets you ready for the NFL.
What's funny is you've only got there's only 2 quarterbacks in the first round. They said it's a weak draft. And the two quarterbacks are Sanders, okay? They got Sanders going.
And Jackson Dart, right?
And Cam Ward, yeah.
Yeah, so they have 3. And then, let's think about
this
round.
Dart kid, most boards have got him out of the first 32.
Yeah, mine, the one that I'm looking at is from
way to go, Pittsburgh.
NFL.com. Reach. Mine has the Steelers taking Matthew Golden, receiver out of Texas.
Yeah, I can see that. He's a great player.
I can see that, but
they got to have a quarterback.
Well, my thing is go ahead and let's go ahead and sign a free agent trade. Let's get Stafford in there. Yeah. Let's get a true professional in the building. Okay.
They can still play. See, I don't think Russ can still play.
No, he can't. And his skill set, it was exciting. It's almost like Tomlin kept him on the bench for 3 games saying, hey, we're going to keep nursing this injury to let Fields so they could kind of see where things were.
I think it was an evaluation move.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they say, okay, now we've acquired these 2. Let's we know what we got with Russ because, pretty much. But let's see what we got with Justin in this. And, Fields, one thing that he does very well, he throws the ball very well from 10, 15 in. Mm-hmm. His out routes, things like that. It's taking that next step like Jalen Hurts did, being able to throw the deep ball, right? And that's not a criticism. It's just just an observation of him. He's very tough. I would want a player like that on my team any day. Mm-hmm. That kind of guy. I know he'd give you everything he's got, that kind of thing. But I'm telling you, Laney, Stafford or Rodgers, and preferably Stafford, would be the guy that I would hope that they would bring in for, I say 2 years, 1 to 2 years until they make a long-term commitment with somebody like and I say like a Roethlisberger. I don't mean anybody comparing it. I'm just saying with the longevity and trying to hit it like that. Mm-hmm. I think you bring in Stafford and draft Dart.
Well, the biggest thing you have to do is you have to bring in, and I still think it's important, you need to bring in a quarterback that you can at least allow him to sit for half a season behind somebody that can mentor.
Sure.
But you've got some teams that don't have a quarterback that can actually mentor because they're not very good.
From the maturity standpoint.
Russ is not going to do it, I don't think. I don't think that's what he does. Who was it? Richie said, no, Russ won't sit on the bench. It was the same reason he transferred from State. Now, my understanding, the reason he transferred from State is because O'Brien did not want him playing baseball. He wanted him at spring practice.
So I say no. That's partially, but this is the whole point. Glennon basically gave him an ultimatum and said, look, either I'm on the field next year or I'm gone.
Yeah.
Well, you got 2 to 3 years with Glennon, or you got 1 more year with Russ. Are you going to win a national championship? No.
With neither.
So, but I'm talking about with the justifying in his mind.
I understand. He can justify what he wants to, but they weren't making a run at let's start with a conference championship before you start getting those national conference championships.
I don't disagree with that, but that's kind of like the mindset that you use to be able to justify an action when someone gives you an ultimatum. You start trying to figure out reasons that you can justify and live with yourself in doing it. Personally, I would have conversation with a player, but I never let them dictate what I did with my roster. Because when you lose control over that, then you're no longer running the team and managing the team. You're being an appeasement to the team.
And I don't know that it made NC State any better.
I don't care how good a player comes in. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I don't care. Like that, the athleticism of the player is great, but the growth and development and mindset is what takes them further in life. And if you're more concerned about you getting a win on Friday night than you are with making them the best they can be, the best husband and father one day, preparing them for that, then you have no business, none whatsoever, being in a public setting. Mm-hmm. In trying to, and I take that same philosophy with college or pro. and implementing that. People say, well, you got to win. We're judged on this. No, you're judged, okay, by only one, and that's the day that you leave this earth.
Yep.
We're all in line. We just don't know where our place in line is, right, to go. All right? And you better have done it right and the best that you can do, or you got a few things to answer to.
Well, the part that most people can't understand is you can do both. You can build character and still build a team.
You can do both, and you can win championships doing both.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yes.
you don't have to – one does not have to supersede the other one so much that you can't be successful on both ends.
Leaving here at Maiden, I was around 29 years old. I worked here for several years. Went to the mountains, took the same philosophy, all right, and with a lot of things that I picked up from the coaches, in our, here at Maiden and in our area, and implemented those things. But I still kept everything at the forefront. The player, doing the right thing for the right reasons first, okay? Then when I come back to the area and coach the Legion team, implemented those same things with the players I had there. The year we went to the state championship, there were 7 kids in the county that threw 90 miles an hour. All right? But I only had 2 of them on my team because they didn't fit the profile of what I was looking for because of the way they – doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just that it was not a fit for them to be on our team. But we still went to the state championship. You see what I'm saying? Because of process and getting things in place and because the players – believed in the system with the consistency. They didn't run a team. I did.
You and I have had this discussion. I'll take less athletes with a more coachable player.
Yes.
Because it fits the way I want to do things, and I think it makes everybody else on the team better and more accountable when you do it that way.
When the reason the pyramids are so wide at the bottom is because they're so tall at the top.
Yeah.
And the reason that skyscrapers, for all intents and purposes, are not as stable as pyramids is because they're built straight up. Mm-hmm. The foundation is not there. You have to do that. And that's part of the reason that like Saban and some of the other coaches, are struggling or getting out because the foundational aspects to catapult people to have successful lives is gone when it's just everything is straight to the top and then they start wavering and next thing you know they fall over and there's no foundation there.
Yeah. Let me go.
It is what it is.
Some of these folks in here. Mandy, good morning. Glad to have you.
My
Stephen
passenger
Lowe.
princess.
Andrew, Stacy, Lindsay Lee, Michael, glad to have you. Barry Drum, thanks for tuning in. Stephen says we're 45 days out from the Cup, and that's important to know.
So Bob Wansker's going with us.
Yep.
Charlie Bass is going.
Yep.
This is an exciting time.
Couple things before we close out here, before we run out of time. Picks for next year's Super Bowl.
Do it, G. Do it.
Way too early.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
This season's over.
You've
what do you mean it's too early?
Do it. Tell him who you got.
I'm gonna go with a different pick. I'm gonna go Broncos. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna go.
That's fabulous. Holy cow, dude! For real. Jeez, that's out there.
I'm gonna go Broncos, and I'm gonna go. This is the year, Lions.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that one. The other one that may be the issue from the NFC may be the Vikings.
Good point.
They may be.
So who are you taking?
Unless if J.J. McCarthy turns into Superman, which I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Well,
then
I hope he does, but I don't.
I do too.
Who you got, Laney?
I still want to see Buffalo get there. I don't know if that window's closing.
They got a couple years left,
and I'm not sure about Baltimore.
I don't have any faith in Baltimore.
I don't think it's Kansas City next year because I think they've got to rebuild a little bit. They got to reload a little bit.
It's over. They're done.
They need to take the pressure off Mahomes so that he's got some more years in him.
Really like that. I love them. I love Andy Reid. I love the players. I'm big fans of all of them, but I think it's done.
I don't.
I think it's done. I'm sorry. I just don't.
Could the Commanders sneak in there, or was this year a fluke?
No, it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluke.
I don't think year 2 is gonna.
No, I don't either.
I think they'll make it to championship game. I don't think they'll win it.
Yeah, they're good enough to slip in their championship game and not get there.
go into year 2 with a quarterback that now they have
film on him. Absolutely, he'll have an adjustment period.
3.
Yes,
it's going to be year 3 whenever.
I'll give you mine.
They take that next.
I'm waiting.
Steelers and Cowboys.
The only thing that they'll be playing in, let me go ahead and tell you,
the toilet bowl.
The toilet bowl. That is correct.
Hey, we got a new game. All right, Cowboys and Steelers. Loser has to keep their owner.
Which one? Which one finishes with a better record
next year?
Yeah.
The Steelers do.
Both fail.
Yeah, but
the Steelers do.
they're just going to be a non-factor.
The
when it
Steelers
comes
will be
to
one game above
championship.
500.
Yeah. Well, that's all that matters. That's what they're
Okay.
looking
No,
for.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And we're going to hear about how Dallas is going to the Super Bowl next year from day one.
Hey, well,
And it's not that I like the Cowboys. I'm a Steelers fan. I like the Cowboys players. I do. I like those guys. But something is just not right. I don't know if it's in their hierarchy structure and everybody doing their thing.
Really?
Well, no,
You can't just point it out.
I mean, I think you can, but I also think that there's some issues from a personnel standpoint through the coaching staff to the head coach.
That's because nobody has been given the authority and responsibility to do their job.
And since Jimmy Johnson, even Bill Parcells,
yes,
who Belichick finally overcame as far as like being the greatest or one of the greatest, even Bill Parcells could not get in there and completely do what he needed to do, right? When I say I can't, people, the hierarchy structure, but I don't think it's just the top. I think that there's some pieces that are in between or whatever. I mean, like getting a head coach in and saying, well, you're the head coach, but we're keeping this offensive coordinator.
Right.
Whether you agree or disagree with that, when a head coach comes in, their role is to manage and, implement things and administrate the team, right? And when you come in and you're told from day one, well, this is what we're doing, but I want you to run this, it kind of like it doesn't mean that you don't agree with it, but it puts you on the defensive immediately. And I know that if somebody puts me in charge of wanting to run something or do something, I'm always open to ideas and things like that. But I don't want to be told from day one, this is what we're doing. Now you go do it. I'm not doing that. I work for a firm that I work for people that have done that before, and it didn't. That is not the way you do it.
Here's the deal. I cannot do a job where you hand me the responsibility, but without the authority to do the job.
Right.
I can't.
And it doesn't mean
function.
that you're doing anything wrong. You just need to have a process and go about the way you're doing it, so you can implement things. Because a lot of times, people that are in charge that may, hire you to do a job that want to put you in charge don't understand how you got where you are, number one, why they're hiring you, number two, and trying to oversee and, just look over everything. Mm-hmm. And I say oversee, and trying to keep their hands in everything instead of just overseeing it and understanding the process.
Right.
That is where your greatest leaders are. Belichick with Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, he oversaw everything
you saw where
that
Patricia's going.
I heard, yeah.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Defense coordinator.
Yeah, people are, let me tell you something. We need to ask Bill about that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Bill's off this week. His mom's having some foot surgery, so we're going to wrap it up. Boys are in here in the morning. G, thanks for showing up. See you guys.